Alright, well, I'm going to film this until it gets in the way. We're going to call this little thing Editing with Ed. Hi, I'm Ed. Now, I have no idea what we're going to call it. It's Editing with something or something editing, or if you got... Hey, here we go. Here's a contest. If you can come up with a worthy enough title for my editing videos, then I will name it whatever you choose. That's a little bit better. Okay. Hello. I'm messing with this little thing just so I can get a second angle and just kind of have fun. I'm waiting for Premiere to load. Alright, so the process after I'm done doing what you just saw, this is what I do. I sit down at my desk and I edit it in Adobe Premiere Pro something, Pro CC 2015. So it's a little bit of an older version, but it's one of the localized versions that you buy. And nowadays you have to subscribe to it, and I don't really want to. Oh, there's no card in the camera, and I don't really want to subscribe to it. I don't want to pay a monthly fee. Like, I'm happy having and owning the software, and I actually with Photoshop. I think I've mentioned this on the road to 40, but I actually use a very old version. It's actually version 7. This is insane. So whenever I use multiple cameras, I have to take all the cards out and transfer the data over to the computer so I can do the editing on the computer. Let me get this recording. Hello. This thing, man, I tell you. I used it yesterday on another project I'm working on with my friend Jim Costanis. Okay, there we go. I don't know what this is going to get either, because this is just... Well, it is a wide-angle lens, so I think I can put it anywhere and we're good to go. Oh, now I'm getting a phone call. Okay, so for me, I just loaded. I had to move my files over. Hello?
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's extended warranty. You should have received something in the mail about your car's extended warranty. Since we have not gotten a response, we are giving you a final courtesy call before we close out your file.
God, huh?
Press 2 to be removed and put on our do not call list. Press 1 to speak with someone about possibly extending or reinstating your car's warranty.
Yeah.
Again, press 1 to speak with a warranty specialist.
Waiting for this opportunity for a while.
Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line and you'll be transferred to the next available agent.
Thank God. I have been very worried about my warranty on my car, so hopefully we can get it fixed right now. It's so insane that they actually have... There must be enough...
This is Brittany with National Dealer Services. Please verify the year, make, and model of your vehicle.
It's a 2004 Kia Sedona. What the fuck? I was really excited to have a little conversation with that person. I wish I had some film of it. But the last few weeks, I've been trying to talk to the people as much as I can on the other end of the line. First, I mess with them, and then I try to make a connection with them just to see. Sometimes it works. They usually hang up, though. The funny thing is like, I get these, like, I mean, I must get 7 or 8 a day now. Like, I've got most of them blocked at this point, but, like, they just get new numbers, and they just fucking call you and won't leave you alone. All right, so I'm not going to... Well, I guess I could film the screen. I'm not going to. I could capture it with... OB, Open Broadcast Software. OBS. Is that it? I don't know. Alright, we're going to make a new project. Here we go. New project. What are we going to call it? Latte Oreos Thin. I always add the S to the end of Oreos because I don't know if there is a singular Oreo. Like, this is an Oreo. But they're called Oreos. Like, it's plural. Like, that's something that... me as a huge fan of Oreos, I'm still having a hard time coming to terms with. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, so we got our file loaded. Now we got to import everything. Thankfully, we only used the one camera to do the thing. Nightly Nerdly. We're gonna do another one of those. Give me a topic. Give me a topic down below to talk about nightly nerdly. And if it's a sci-fi or fantasy related subject that I'm interested in, I'll pick my favorite. I hear children. Is there children out there? Some children. I don't care. June 11th. It's actually the 12th. I filmed it a day late. My life is a blur these days, honestly. From one day to the next, I'm not going to get into a lot of the details, but I just have a lot going on, even though I don't. Like, it's hard to explain. It's just like a constant flowing motion of stuff to do. Oh, why did I do that? Okay, so first thing I do, I import them, I drag them over the timeline. Now, the step that I almost always forget, that I always don't want to forget, is color correction. Like, if I don't do that first and I start editing and splitting up files and throwing in little magical things here and there, it gets scary and ugly, and then I have to go in and paste it to every video file. So I like to try to get it done at the beginning. Okay, so what I did today, for all you filmmakers out there, I did I'm not a genius when it comes to cameras. I know what works to make it look the way I want it to look, but I can't explain to you why. I never took the classes. Perhaps I should have. I've watched a lot of videos, but most of it just in and out. Just the stuff I needed stayed in here. And so I'm filming at an ISO of 640. My shutter speed is set to 125 because I'm shooting at 60 frames a second, so you're supposed to double that to get your shutter speed. Shutter speed? Lens speed? I don't fucking know. This is what I'm talking about. And then your aperture, the lower, I would assume, most things go down in numbers, is set to 3.5 because with that lens I can't get it any lower. So I hope that helps. And I'm shooting flat on color and contrast and all that. Everything color-wise you see has been improved upon by Premiere. Okay, so I find a frame that shows off this beautiful beast right here. And I like to mess with LUTs first. I usually go in and first thing I do is I'll apply the Area Alexa on. It comes standard. I have a bunch that I've downloaded that I like better, but I've yet to take the time to put them in the right folder so they'll always be there. Now, what do I like about the Area Alexa SL profile? It does everything I'm going to do manually anyway. The only thing I usually ever end up changing on it is my exposure. I bring it up just a little bit because I like what it does with the contrast, the whites, the blacks. It doesn't overdo anything, but it really makes it vivid. And then saturation, it all depends. I like saturation in Photoshop where you can pick your color and increase it. And I know you can do that in here, but I've been using Premiere for over 20 years. Well, no, probably close to 20 years at this point. No, I turned 30 or 10. It's about 15 years. Shut up. Okay. And sometimes I will mess with the temperature too. Like this. Here, take a look. This is going to be a bad representation of what you're seeing, but this is the original file here. Like, so this is green, but if you look at it in reality versus the screen, I honestly don't know if that's making a difference or not, or if I'm just wasting all our time doing that. But nonetheless, that's kind of, I want it to look more like this, but I want to be in control. That's why I always shoot flat. And I learned that from a guy, Peter McKinnon, who has a really cool YouTube channel. I wish I had the equipment he had and the money he has to connections and stuff. So anybody out there want to connect me to Peter McKinnon or somebody who can, I don't know what I'm talking about. And okay, so as you're editing, what I like to do is turn my FX on and off. I think that's what it represents, FX. And I'll show you before and afterwards. And I'm actually kind of, it's okay, it's not bad, but I feel like it's almost too contrasty. That's a little bit better. The whites are tough, man. I feel like brighter whites look great, but they're almost distracting too. And my blacks I usually put down a little bit so it's a little richer, darker. Creative, I always put a little bit of a faded film, which kinda tries to replicate what it would look like if... I like the fluidity of 60 frames a second. I think it looks more real, and I'm not trying to make a movie, I guess. But 24 frames a second looks so rich, and especially if you mess around with your settings after you import it and you're shooting flat, it can look just amazing afterwards. But faded film, I cheat sometimes, and I will throw a little bit of it on there. Usually not as much as like 20%, 18%. Good, great. Curves, if I find that there's just not enough contrast, I'll mess with that, but it looks fine. Vignette, I leave alone. Color wheel. Okay, so what I usually do is I'll set my shadows to orange, and then I'll set my highlights to teal, but very close to center, and just see how it looks. Sometimes it improves the image, sometimes it doesn't. But I'll tweak with that a little bit. This time it is just not looking right. Something's not right. Anyway, these are the first steps that I take to make my videos look as best as I can make them. Like, I don't know. Oh, that is nice. I think I might warm that up a little bit. Okay, yeah. So I'll put a little orange in. I'll edit all this shit out so it's not... Huh. I kind of like that. Looks like the original. Oh, God, that's sexy. I need to save this. I never do. And then the next week, when I film with the same camera, with the same lens, usually with the same lighting, I have to do it all over again. I kind of like it, though. It's part of the process that I like. And last thing I'll do is sometimes I'll go down to... Sometimes I'll go down to the lumetri, lumen. I always want to say lumen something, lumetri. I don't know. The presets. Take a look at the cinematic. Sometimes I'll try to slap a cinematic like 25 on there. See what it looks. Ooh. Huh. Oh yeah, we're gonna leave that. I think we might bring up the exposure again though, and our basic correction. No? Yeah, 0.2. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I just make it look good. It always kills me when people spend a lifetime learning something when, like, the real process for me is hands-on and doing it. And, like, I mean, you can learn, but most, like I say, most things I learn, like, from a YouTube video, like, it only the little minor parts that I need stay here, and everything that I would like to still be in there just goes out the other side, so... yeah, well, I'm going to get to editing this video. I'm going to let you guys go back to your lives. If I think of funny and interesting things to say, I'll film them and slap them on as we progress here. So, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you at least next Tuesday, if not before then. Give me a topic for Nightly Nerdly, something you want to talk about or you want me to talk about, and I'll talk about it in the next episode. All right, thank you guys for stopping by. I'll see you guys further on down the road. Yay, woo!